name is Adrian Segovia. I'm a music education major. I am a senior and I am from Jasper, Texas, and welcome to the major discussion of music. Our goal is to answer your questions as they relate to being a music student. Our guest today is Dr. Brian Shook, Chair of the Department of Music. Also joining us is Chastity Fields, who is an admissions counselor. She will be fielding your admission questions. Your video is turned off and your microphones are muted to ensure your privacy. You can ask questions using the chat option in the bottom of your screen. Some of these questions will be answered in the chat. Some will be answered by me or Dr. Shook, but we will do our best to answer all the questions. We are recording this session for posting on our website. The recording will be closed caption. So let's get started.
Well, hello, Adrian, and others who are visiting us here. Adrian, it's nice to see you. I miss seeing you around campus, but nice to see you here. Just like to go through a little bit and talk about the department here of music at Lamar University, the Mary Morgan Moore Department of Music. I've got a little slideshow here that I'm going to share. Adrian, let me know if that doesn't come through on your end. So a little bit about the music department. We are accredited by the National Association of Schools of Music, which just means there's a national organization that looks at all the standards for presenting degrees in music, and we are one of those institutions. So that means all of our programs and courses meet those standards. We have about 150 students, music majors in the department. And then we also have minors and non-majors who also participate in our ensembles. We've got about 20 full-time faculty that teach all of our courses. And then in addition, about 8 to 10 part-time faculty that teach other courses as well as needed. There's 4 basic undergraduate degrees that we offer in music. We have a bachelor's in music education that leads to teacher certification, a bachelor's in performance, composition, and also a Bachelor of Arts. And I'll talk a little bit later about the different careers that you can have with those degrees. And then in our graduate program, we have 3 graduate degrees, music education, music performance, and a Kodai emphasis, which is a music education degree, but with a Kodai emphasis, especially for the younger ages in elementary school. And then we have a wide variety of performance opportunities for students to be involved in. And so I'll go through and talk a little bit about those different ensembles that we have. Our largest ensemble is the Showcase of Southeast Texas Marching Band. Adrian's a proud member of that ensemble. And usually there's about 150 to 200 students that participate in that ensemble. Of course, they perform for all the home football games, several away games. They perform exhibitions at the area and region. And as well as a couple of years ago, they performed at the Bands of America Super Regionals in San Antonio. So very active group. It's also all of our ensembles, but especially marching band, provide wonderful opportunities for social interaction and getting to know other students. A lot of non-majors participate in the showcase, and so it gives an opportunity to get to know other people from across campus, or from, for non-majors to get to know some music majors. Our other ensembles are concert bands, or what we call our sit-down bands. They're non-marching, include the Wind Ensemble, Symphonic Band, and University Band. The Wind Ensemble is our elite performance band ensemble, and typically is comprised of upperclassmen or performance majors. And they give several concerts each semester, usually performing very difficult repertoire, very challenging, but also very rewarding concerts. The Symphonic Band is a little bit of a larger ensemble. You might have, in the Wind Ensemble, you have typically one person on a part. In the symphonic band, you might have 2 or 3 on a part, so it's a little bit of a larger ensemble. And they also perform several times throughout the year. And then our university band is usually just the spring semester, and the university band is comprised of a lot of non-majors and minors, and also music majors who may choose to double on a secondary instrument. So for example, you may have a saxophone player who's a music education major who wants to get experience playing the flute. And so they will perform in the university band, or the U band as we call it, on flute. So Dr. McMahon is our director of bands, and he conducts the wind ensemble. And Dr. Shannon conducts our marching band, symphonic band, and university band. Our next band ensemble is the Cardinal Jazz Orchestra, of course, playing a different style of music, not your traditional classical music, but jazz. And their concerts are typically sold out. We've now had to move to 2 performances in the Rockwell Recital Hall because of fire codes, so they're very in popular demand. And Professor Rick Condit is our esteemed professor of saxophone and jazz, and a member of the Stan Kenton Legacy Jazz Orchestra. So he is an extremely gifted and talented educator. We have 2 choirs. We have a cappella choir and the grand chorus. The a cappella choir is very similar to our wind ensemble, and that's an elite ensemble. So again, usually just a few students in each section, and usually performing, again, a little bit more challenging repertoire. And then our grand chorus is comprised of all of the choral students, and as well as non-majors too. So they also give concerts throughout the year in a variety of different performance venues. Both band and choral ensembles also typically give some sort of a tour. So recruiting tour, going to high schools or performing at festivals, exhibitions. So I'll talk a little bit more about that later. We also have the Lamar Opera Theater, again, another variety genre for students to be involved in. It's very exciting because you get to not just perform, but also do some acting. And so that's an option for our students to participate in that ensemble, which is directed by Dr. Sardar Ilban. And I forgot to mention earlier that our 2 choirs, the a cappella and grand chorus, are both conducted by Dr. James Hahn. So a very, very talented faculty, really engaged with the students, and they give just wonderful performances. There's so many concerts every week that it's tough to keep up with them all. We also have chamber ensembles, and these are even smaller ensembles yet. So this could be 3, 4, 5 students. What you see here are two members from one of our brass quintets. And so these ensembles get together with a faculty member each week, and they work on repertoire that's just for that ensemble. And I think this is where a lot of the magic happens in the department, because here the students are even a smaller setting with no conductor, and they have an opportunity to choose the own music that they want to play, and and give concerts, recitals, and then even we have a chamber music outreach program that goes out into the community, and specifically the high schools and middle schools and elementary schools, and gives educational concerts for them, and that's an additional source of income for those students. So we're very excited to have started the chamber outreach program this past year. So several students are participating in that program. Here, talk a little bit about the different career paths that our degrees lead to. Many of our alumni are out there in the music world as music educators. That's band and choir directors. And many of them are also teaching at the college level. We have several alumni who are out as professional performers. One of them is in the President's own marine band. We also have professional composers and conductors, alumni who are in the recording studios, performing in studios, but also, you know, doing the recording side, the technology side of recording studios. Of course, we have students that either do full-time or part-time directing in churches for church music. Also, several students as they progress through their, or sorry, excuse me, alumni as they progress through their career as a music educator. Later on, they turn toward fine arts administration. So we have several alumni who are doing that, and then also students who might be in the music, alumni who might be in the music promoting business, you know, working for an orchestra or another music organization promoting their events and industry. A little bit about your professors, what you could expect from our professors. Here we have a photo of Dr. McMahon conducting our wind ensemble. Our faculty are international teaching artists and performing artists. They're published authors, professional composers and arrangers, recording artists, and of course, leaders in the community. So Dr. McMahon, Dr. Shannon, Dr. Hahn, they're all very, very closely involved with Region 10 and TMEA. Have a lot of connections and know a lot of other professionals in those organizations. And we're very involved in our community. Of course, we host a lot of events on campus. And so there are lots of people from our community who come to our events and who support our events. A little bit about our facilities. This photo here you see is of our newly renovated Jimmy Simmons Music Building and our Rothwell Recital Hall. So this is where all of our degree recitals take place, and some of our chamber ensembles that take place here. It seats about 140 people. Very, very wonderful acoustics. And then we also have a brand new Steinway D piano that just sounds beautiful in that environment. We also have access to University Theater for our larger ensemble concerts. Seats about 500 people. And then we have our rehearsal hall, the Wiley Rehearsal Hall, and then several different classrooms that provide instructional opportunities for our classes with full technology capability there. What you can expect in your first year experience here at Lamar is your typical schedule would be applied lessons. So those are private lessons with whatever your a primary instrument or voice type is. Every student, every music major is assigned a faculty member who gives them private instruction once a week on their instrument or voice. Also, you'd be enrolled in at least one or more ensembles. A lot of students take more than one ensemble for different experiences. So you might be in choir as well as one of the choral groups, as well as the opera theater, or you might be in wind ensemble as well as jazz band to get versed in those different styles. Also, you can expect to be in a music theory course, a music history course, and of course your general education core. So usually somewhere between 14 and 16 credit hours in the first semester. And of course, the rest of your time is spent practicing for your lessons and for your ensembles. Some of our highlights throughout the year. One of the big highlights, especially for me and for the community, is our annual Handel's Messiah concert that we present at St. Anthony's Cathedral Basilica. That ends up being a standing room only event, and it involves almost all of it. Not all, but many of our students, especially all of our choral students, and then many faculty perform in the orchestra and also sing some of the solo arias. So it's a wonderful event for the entire department, and it really engages closely with the community, and we're especially thankful to President Evans and his support for that annual production. As well as the Basilica and hosting that event for our community. Also, our annual collage concert does involve the entire department and all of the students in one way or another, and all the faculty in one way or another. And this is a fundraiser concert to help us fund our various festivals and guest artist presentations throughout the year. So the collage concert is sort of like a smorgasbord of all the different ensembles that perform. So you hear all of those ensembles I mentioned earlier, all of them perform on the collage concert. And then the proceeds from that event help us to present a festival, like we have our annual brass festival, we have a flute day and a percussion festival, pretty much a festival for each area. And what we do in those festivals is we bring a special guest artist in, a world-renowned artist, and they work with our students and other prospective students who come to participate in that festival. And then it usually culminates with some sort of a gala concert. Also, other highlights throughout the year are our presentations and performances at TMEA. We always have alumni and current faculty give presentations. A few years ago, our band, Wind Ensemble, performed as one of the featured college bands at TMEA. So there's always some Lamar involvement at TMEA. And then one of the big highlights this past year for the marching band was to go to Mardi Gras and march in their coup d'etat parade. So that's something we continue. We hope to do for each year, a trip like that for the marching band that is just an experience just for the students and the marching band, that's not linked to an athletic event. So a lot of times the marching band is facilitating entertainment and spirit for the football games, but here this is an event for them that they can just experience on their own. The application and audition process is quite simple, and you can find this information on our website, lamar.edu/music. Here, just you complete your application to Lamar University and be accepted. So that's to the entire university. You need to apply to the university, and then once you are accepted to the university, then you need to submit a separate music department application, and this has specific information to music. The university application does not have specific information about music, but the department application does have specific information about music. And then step 3, once you're admitted to LU, fill out your My Scholarship application, and then you schedule your audition. And I can talk a little bit more about the audition process a little bit later, but I'd like to turn it back over to Adrian to see if we have any questions from those who are in attendance, or maybe if he would like to chime in with any additional information from what I've talked about. You've heard me talk for long enough now, but let's see if he has anything to say.
Yeah, we have one question that came in, and it said, are concerts free?
Well, that's a great question. So most of our concerts are free. The only concerts currently that we charge an admission price for is that collage concert, which is a fundraiser. So all of the other concerts typically are free, unless there's some. I mean, in my 10+ years at Lamar, I think we've only charged maybe for 1 or 2 events. So typically they're free and open to the public. And we announce those things online and through other mailings and that kind of thing. Do you have anything to add, Adrian? Anything maybe that I missed?
We also have one more question that came in, and it said, what is the classroom environment like? When do you get to start performing? What does a semester look like for a student? So it's like 3 questions, but we can go ahead and just start with the first one, which was, what is the classroom environment like?
Sure. So we have several different types of classes. You have your typical like music history, music theory class. There's those classrooms seat about 30 students, so it's a little bit of an intimate setting. So you could have anywhere between 50 and 30 students in a lot of those classes. Of course, our ensembles are larger classes, but we try to manage the student course load so that it's not too overwhelming. And we also offer a lot of help sessions for students, tutoring sessions, things like that. So it's a very nurturing environment. The faculty are always encourage questions, and they hold office hours to work with students who may need a little bit of extra help. And of course, there's study groups and things like that. Adrian, maybe you have, since you've kind of been through this, maybe you have some additional thoughts about what the classroom environment is like.
Yes, of course. So yeah, like you had mentioned, it's about like 30 people in a classroom. What's really nice is that you get to see the same people generally in almost all of your classes. So you easily become, friends with those people. As regarding to the question about performing, you start performing immediately once you get on campus. Pretty much that. And then just like a typical semester, I mean, like you had mentioned, you have your applied lessons. You generally focus on one instrument, and you also have something called method classes. So you get to learn a semester about, for example, woodwinds, and then in the next semester you'll learn about orchestra, and so you'll learn about strings, so things like that. So typically each semester is pretty different with regarding a new instrument, as well as your music theory classes do advance. So you'll go through like music theory 1, 2, all the way to 4. As well as your music history classes. So, like I said, it's typically something pretty simple in the way that you get your friends and you can kind of grow with them and learn together. So you will typically not feel alone because you have friends that typically play the same instrument as you, as well as tying that into the marching band. You get to learn about different majors and stuff like that. So you get an outside view of not just the music department, but the whole university. Another question that came in as well was about, are there any organizations that I can join related to music? Typically, we do have 3. We have Phi Mu Alpha, we have Kappa Kappa Psi, and Tau Beta Sigma. I am currently involved in 2 of those organizations. It is really nice because we can serve the university band program, so we help out with opening the doors for concerts, passing out the programs, as well as fundraising just to help out and just little things that we can do. So there are ways to get involved. Like I said, with those music organizations, it really helps you learn how to be a leader, how to serve the band, putting yourself out there, networking especially is a big one. And just learning leadership skills and not just focusing on the university, but as well as like in different universities.
And we also have, there's 2 other organizations. There's the Lamar Percussion Society, LPS, that is, focused more narrowly on percussion. And then we also have the Student National Association of Teachers Singing. So the SNATS, we have a local chapter there. So a lot of the choral students are involved in the SNATS organization. Any other questions there, Adrian?
Not at the moment.
Let me talk while you're looking at that. Let me talk a little bit about scholarships. So we do have scholarships that are available to music majors, minors, and non-majors. And so the way the scholarship works is, any student is part of the audition process. So if you're looking to enter the music department or enter Lamar University in the fall, whether you're a music major or not, you can schedule an audition and perform for the faculty. And based on that performance, you may be awarded a scholarship. And that scholarship then is linked to your performance in one of the ensembles, one of the large ensembles. So all students who participate in marching band receive a scholarship, and there's no audition required for the marching band. And of course, each year that you're in the marching band, you get an increase in your scholarship. And then if you are in a leadership position within the marching band, if you're a section leader or a drum major, there's an additional scholarship added on top of that. So there's some incentive there to stay within the marching band, farther into your degree as your degree progress allows if you're outside of music. But our other ensembles, we also offer scholarships to perform in any of our bands and any of our choirs, and those scholarships are linked to your participation in those ensembles, and it's based on your audition. So for your audition day, after you apply to the university and get accepted to the university, and then after you fill out the music application, you schedule your audition. And for the audition, basically, in a typical time, a non-pandemic time, those auditions take place in December and January, February, December, February, March, and April usually are when we have those auditions. And basically, you show up and you will perform on your instrument or voice a variety of repertoire, and that's outlined on our website. So there's very specific guidelines for voice, and then for instrumental students, we usually say at least 2 pieces of contrasting styles. So for example, you may perform your 2 region etudes, one slow and one fast, and there you go. And it's usually a relatively short audition. The faculty there are listening to you, make some comments, encourage you. Of course, we want you to do the best you can, so we're there cheering for you. And then if you're going to be a music major, you will take a theory placement exam, which just lets us know which theory course to place you in. It has no bearing on scholarship. And then a piano placement exam. So if you've never had piano at all before, then we place you in the first class piano course, because there is a requirement for majors to reach a certain proficiency in piano. It's very simple. I'm a trumpet player, but even I took that class and could pass it. So it is very possible if you practice and apply yourself. But again, that piano placement exam has no bearing on your scholarship. The scholarship is a performance-based scholarship. It's what we call a talent-based scholarship. So it's not need-based and it's not academic-based. We have lots of other scholarships available through the financial aid office, which I encourage you to look into too. But the music department offers additional scholarships on top of that are talent-based. Did any other questions come in there, Adrian?
No, but I would like to add one other ensemble that I really enjoy is the Lamar University Pep Band. So you do audition for that as well. It's not really a scholarship. You do get paid per game. It's about $25 per game. Typically, you'll get that money at the end of the season. But it's really enjoyable. I did it for 3 years, and we got to travel all around the state of Texas. A lot of great memories with a lot of friends. It's also just more opportunities to perform. So the more opportunities you have to perform, the better you are prepared for when you're actually out in the field and looking for a job. And so you'll have all those skill sets ready. So that's another one I wanted to point out is the Lamar University Pep Band. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, great. Thank you for mentioning that, Adrian. Anybody who has been to our basketball games knows how valuable that ensemble is to the environment in those basketball games, both men's and women's. So it's usually very busy spring semester for those students involved in the Pep Band. But you guys definitely have a good time performing with the Pep Band. So it's always fun to watch you. Any other questions?
All right, Dr. Shook, it seems
Adrian?
like those are all the questions we have so far. So I'm pretty much gonna go ahead and close out. So just give me 1 second.
Great.
All right, so I'm going to put the contact information for the department and stuff. So just give me 1 second while I pull that up. All right, students, if you want to take a moment and pull out your cell phone so you can take a picture of this. This is all the contact information. Let's see. Let's see right here. Just let me know if you're able to see it, Dr. Shook.
I don't see it yet.
All right, give me 1 second. All right, while it pops up, I'm just going to say the contact information is for our marketing coordinator for the College of Fine Arts and Communication. Now you'll find their email there, as well as Dr. Brian Shook's email, and as well as finding your admission counselor. So you can go to lamar.edu/admission/find your admission counselor. So if you have any questions there.
And just one little correction. My email address, my first name is spelled B-R-I-A-N. It is spelled B-R-A-I-N there, but that should be pretty obvious. Yeah, brian.shook@lamar.edu.
Good call, Dr. Shook.
That's good.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Shook, as well as Chastity for being here today, and as well as our interpreter. If you have any questions or you want any kind of follow-up, please feel free to add your email into the group, and we will then send you out more information and just keep in contact with you. So if you have any information, you can either send it through the chat box, or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can send it privately to Lamar University.